Letter 1, Excerpt 11. Summary. What Jesus saw and felt in the desert. Continued. The characteristics of the creative power of divine consciousness. He was shown that the divine creative power always worked according to certain set, invariable laws governing all of existence. These are 9 laws, and the first 5 are as follows. 1. Growth. 2. Nutrition and nourishment. 3. Healing. 4. Protection. 5. Fulfillment of need. Furthermore, I was shown that the divine creative power always worked according to certain fundamental and exact principles of construction. I was shown that just as men have clear characteristics and a well-defined nature in their self-presentation to the world at large, so did the creative power possess a clearly defined nature, distinct characteristics, which could be clearly recognized in the manner that all living things, plants, animals, birds, man, were constructed and maintained. I saw that these principles and characteristics, clearly observable in the process of creation, were set, invariable laws governing all of existence. These laws are so much part of life that they are never questioned. They are undeviating and consistent, but there would be no such laws if there was no creative intelligent power manifesting itself through the universe. These principles of creation, the characteristics of the creative power itself, are as follows. I am translating them into your present tense because these principles are eternal. 1. The nature of the creative power is growth. Everything living always grows. Growth is a universal characteristic, an undeviating principle of existence. 2. The nature of the creative power is nutrition and nourishment. Nutrition and nourishment are a normal and marvelously organized process within bodies, which is evident to all who take the trouble to consider them. Nutrition is provided for all living things according to individual preferences, and the food is digested to promote health and well-being. When little creatures are born, milk is already supplied within the mother, ready and waiting for the newborn. This too is a mystifying principle of existence no one can deny. No science can explain why such a fortuitous function within the system, ensuring survival of the species, should have originally come into being. The actual function itself may be understood, but not the why and the mainspring of the function. 3. The nature of the creative power is healing. Healing is a natural characteristic of existence and can be said to be a natural perfecting process which takes place to ensure individual comfort, but none can explain what prompts the activity of healing. 4. The nature of the creative power is protection. Protection is an integral characteristic of creative power, and all of its seeming miraculous activity in the world is geared towards protection. Today, your medical textbooks describe the various protective systems in your body, but when I was in the desert, I saw the characteristic of protection inherent in the intelligent creative power in the following way. As plants, birds, and animals were presented to me for inspired observation, I could see how every need of protection in bodies has been lovingly supplied with the greatest attention to detail. 5. This characteristic of protection is combined with the other dynamic characteristic of fulfillment of need. This was made clearly apparent in the provision of hair, fur, and feathers to protect the skin of living creatures and to provide warmth in the cold and shelter in the heat. I saw that the tender endings of important sensitive fingers and toes were all provided with appropriate protection of hoof and nail. Eyebrows protected eyes from sweat. Eyelids and lashes protected eyes from dust and damage. I realized that those animals which attracted flies were equipped with a kind of tails which would most speedily get rid of them. What a happy, joyous kind of love and caring were expressed in the small physical attributes which seemed so small and inconsequential, and yet had such a profound bearing on the comfort of all living things. These physical luxuries, added to the basic physical design, were clearly the product of an intelligence which intended creation to be comfortable and happy, free of the stress which would have experienced man and beast if these luxury items had not been given them. Even the natural functions were so intelligently and comfortably designed to call forth thanksgiving. Everything tucked so neatly out of sight. How blessed, how fortunate was mankind to be born into a life so wonderfully provided for. Again my praises soared, and I was lifted on an inner golden light of rapturous wonder, for I now saw that, in addition to freedom from stress, living creatures were also meant to express the exuberant loving nature of the creative power. For this reason, they were equipped with limbs, arms, hands, legs, and feet, fingers and toes, to enable them to move about, run, leap, and dance, to be able to express their inmost thoughts and feelings. I even felt that if mankind longed to fly and grow wings, and believed with all their hearts they could do so, eventually they would begin growing something additional to enable them to fly. It was at this point of understanding of the nature of the creative power that I came into the full consciousness of the love directing the works of the universal, intelligent, creative power. As I pondered this love, I realized that the mother in creation nourishes, protects, fulfills the needs, and tries to promote healing of offspring. This is the activity of love.
Hello, hello, how are you? I'm Michael's son. Guys and girls of the world, of the Christian world mainly, but anybody on this planet that is willing to listen to me and is here with me now. This is for everyone, but I talk to you mainly, Christians of this world, because my message, which is not mine, is a universal message, and it is the universal teaching of the truth of existence that taught Jesus of Nazareth more than 2,000 years ago. It's for everyone. If you didn't know this, Jesus didn't come to establish a new religion. No way, Jose. That's something that was sold to us. That's something that was hammered into our heads and has been hammered into our heads of our forefathers for ages, centuries, years and years, year in, year out. No way, Jose. He came to teach the universal truth of existence. He came to teach us to change our way of thinking and feeling, and to realize that we create our own lives. Exactly. Okay, so it's so good to be again with you here today. And we just read Excerpt 11 of Letter 1. And this is our third reading of the narrative of Jesus' experience in the desert. Okay, so this is my brief comment on that reading that we just made. God God is consciousness. God is universal consciousness. And that universal consciousness is universal creative power of love, or love creative power. That is God. And the workings of this universal love creative power are governed by a set of laws, invariable principles, that they are so natural. They are so much part of life and of our lives and of our lives and of the life that surrounds us, that we never ever question them. We take them for granted absolutely. Okay? So these are 9 laws, and the reading today speaks or talks about and describes briefly the first 5 of them. The creative power, the nature of the creative power is growth. Number 1, the nature of the creative power is nutrition and nourishment. The nature of the creative power is healing. The nature of the protection of the creative power is protection. Law number 4. And law number 5, which is a dynamic law as number 4, and combines, this dynamic law number 5 combines with law 4, which is fulfillment of need. Okay? So let me just touch upon 2 of them very briefly. Growth. Every living thing grows always. Every living thing grows always. Is it not so, dear sister, beautiful, beautiful sister? Is it not so, handsome brother of mine, divine brother of mine? Every living thing grows always. Look at yourself. Look at your body. Look at your pet if you have one. Look at nature. Look at plants. If you live in a mega city, if you live in Tokyo, if you live in New York City, if you live in Sao Paulo, if you live in Mexico, the Federal District, you still have parks. And if you live in a tiny apartment and you cannot go out for whatever reason, bring a plant to your house. Ask somebody to bring a plant to your house and look at it every day. A healthy plant, of course. And you will see how it grows day by day. How is it that so? How come? We take that for granted, but where does that powerful, unstoppable drive of life comes from? Is it not a mystery? Is it not a total miracle? Science has not explained this. Science has managed to describe many mechanics of life, many processes of life, but has not yet answered the question of the true origins of life. What is really behind that unstoppable drive and power of life, of growth? No, it has not answered that question, and it will never ever be able to answer it if it still remains locked behind the blind doors of materialism. Okay, number 1, growth. Number 2, in my comment today, healing. Look at yourself. Look at your body. Look at your sacred, magic body. Have you ever cut yourself? Aside an infection, which is an abnormal process, something that should not happen. Aside infection, haven't you noticed how your body heals itself spontaneously? Haven't you noticed how new tissue is growing? Second by second, instant by instant, as we saw in our last video, which I uploaded just a few hours ago. Oh, I'm a true YouTuber. Hundreds and hundreds of these tiny entities, infinitely tiny entities of cells, are working and creating that new tissue for you, in you. How is it so? How is it so? Dear brother, as I said in my last video, which I recorded just this morning in San Francisco, Cundinamarca, Colombia, please open your heart to the mystery that life is. Please open your heart to the mystery that you are, dear brother, dear sister. Beloved in my heart, really. Open your hearts to the mystery that you are. Please. Do not suffocate. Do not quell. Do not destroy that call in your heart. If you're watching this video, it is for some reason, dear Christian. Do not suffocate that call, that flame that is starting. It is finally burning in your heart, telling you, I want to know more. There must be something more to all of this. Okay? Well, my comment stops here. Thanks so much for being here. Really, really. Please give me a like if you like this video. Thanks so much for sharing with friends and family. Hit the button below to subscribe to my channel. And many thanks again for being here. Hope you come to see me and join me in my next video, which will be out also very soon. I love you all. I truly do. Hasta la vista, amigos.
Es el canto del sol que brilla aquí en la tierra. Es el viento cósmico. Es la lluvia en las estrellas. Eres el espiral de luz en cada célula, oh gran espíritu. Eres el agua, el aire y el fuego. Eres la luz.